Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. So it's that time of week again. After such a long break, we're back. We're back live, and hopefully we should be back onto our normal routine again now, and we'll be live again every Friday at 8 o'clock or thereabouts, and we'll be back with our usual videos again. So I had to take a little bit of a break. Life just got too hectic with my election campaign. I mean, unfortunately, it didn't go as well as I'd hoped, but we made some massive inroads. We and hopefully we're on good stead for next year. But without further ado, let's get back to our normal gardening chat, and let's see who's coming in for a chat and see who will give you a bit of an update on what's going on. So I've just been finishing filming today, well, Sunday's video. So I just finished that before I came on live. So you can keep an eye out for that, and that'll be up live on Sunday. What time do you guys prefer? Do you guys prefer a morning video, or do you guys prefer a video in the afternoon? Let me know, and we'll sort of target it around that. Because normally I used to do on a Sunday, I used to release videos about 10, 11 o'clock, but a lot of people prefer them later on, so I started releasing them later on. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are on whether you want them earlier on or whether you want them later on, and we'll work from there. So who have we got? We've got Pizzle, wa alaikum assalam. Graham, how are you doing, man? Graham, I know it's been a while since we've managed to come on live, but yeah, we're back live again now, and hopefully we should be back to our normal routine. But I'm glad to be back. It's good to catch up with everyone. We've got 10 people in the house. We've got one like. If you don't mind hitting that like for me, that would be really good. Icky, how are you? Glad you're back. I thought you won the lottery. I don't play the lottery, but yeah, it'd be nice, that kind of money. But no, even if I'd have won that kind of money, or if I'd have got that kind of money from somewhere, you'd have seen me moving onto my farm, and I'd be doing live streams from my farm. These live streams are just is a way of connecting with everyone. Did you see my video? So we got back to making videos last week, so I put one out last week, just an update of the garden, seeing the state of the garden, how it is, and how far behind I feel at the moment. But hopefully we should be able to start making catch-ups this over the next few weeks. I'm not going to get some tomorrow and Sunday. I won't get full days into the garden again, simply because we've got the North Leeds Food Festival. So it's our first food festival that we've ever done. We're taking a stall at one of them, and yeah, so we'll just see how we get on with that. Di, how are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. You're early. Yeah, absolutely. It's brilliant to have you in. Hope you're keeping well. You could have bought Monty's jewel. Yeah, I would have had my own nice little farm if I'd had that kind of money. Hit that like button, absolutely, if you don't mind. Derek, thanks very much for sending those giant seeds. I'm going to get them planted this weekend. My mum's been on at me to get the what do you call it, the bean beds ready. So where we're going to be planting the beans. So yeah, she's been on at me about that. So we're going to be planting your giants. We're going to be planting our normal runner beans, loads of French climbing beans. So yeah, it's going to be full on planting this weekend. But I'm going to try and fit that in around trying to do this market as well. So where's the food festival? It's at Roundhay Park. So they've got it on for Saturday and Sunday. I've never been to one of these things before, so I'm interested to see what it's going to be like. Hopefully, it should be good. I mean, we've got a table in one of the big marquees, so people are going there specifically for food. People are going there specifically for food, so there should be a market for us, hopefully. You okay? So all the kids have been feeling a little bit rough at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, you had a day off school today, didn't you? Yeah. So what's everyone up to? How's everyone's gardens going at the moment? Can you bring my glasses, buddy? Don't forget to pot up the sea kale. Caterpillars can't eat it. So I've got your sea kale in a jar of water at the home in the house. Yeah, I'll probably get it potted up tomorrow at some point. We've got your giant beans to go in. I got your gourd seeds posted on Thursday. I think it was Thursday. Yeah, either Wednesday or Thursday. I got them posted, so hopefully they should get to you either today or tomorrow if they haven't already got to you. I've missed this Friday live, absolutely, man. The thing is, I've missed being on. I love coming on live. It's completely different to the normal videos. Yeah, but I do like coming on live, catching up with everyone, making sure, just getting an update with everyone, seeing how everyone is. So yeah, I do miss it. And but the thing is, during my election campaign, I took about a month off work, and pretty much every day, every morning, I was out in the morning, probably 9-10 o'clock, and I wasn't coming home till 9-10 o'clock in the evening, and non-stop walking. So I was just absolutely shattered. So just getting back to work and getting back to teaching and back to gardening, it's like taking a break from all of that. So but I mean, it was an experience. It was a lot of hard work, but yeah, we'll see what happens. So still cold here. Derek, whereabouts are you? Remind me where you are. Because it was quite nice over the last few days. We had some really sunny spells, but we had some crazy rain during the week. Some really crazy rain, and then today it just seems to have the temperatures seem to have really dropped, and it's gone really cold again. So I don't know what's happening. This weekend's supposed to get a little bit colder. I don't know what the temperature is going to be like. So just be careful. Would have come over a few days. Next year we're going to be out. We're going to be out again. I'm gonna do it again next year. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna give it one more try and see what happens, because we need something in our locality. It's just absolutely crazy the way things are. Can I plant my bitter gourd in my greenhouse? Bitter gourd in the greenhouse? You can. Just make sure you harden it off properly. Make sure the temperatures are nice and stable. You want a minimum nighttime temperature of about 10 degrees before you get them out there. So just watch that. Alan coming in from Northern Ireland. How are you doing, man? Hope you're keeping well. Bro, finish the potting shed. It looks a treat, actually. I mean, you sent me the pictures and it looks quite nice. So if that's what you're working with, yeah, I think you're doing all right. Yeah, it's going to be quite nice in there. And if you just use it for your seedlings and for your potting up, it'll be pretty good. With the size of those windows as well, you can, even after you finish potting up and all that sort of stuff, you can just leave a few tomatoes in there and use it like a greenhouse. Qurratul Ain, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Hope you're keeping well, brother. Graham's potty, absolutely, man. Yeah. So Moz is off paddle boarding. That's why he's not in the live tonight. But we'll catch him up again next week. But that guy goes sort of swimming in cold water, man. He goes swimming in he does what's it called, wild swimming. It's too cold for me, man. I can't do that. I can't do that sort of thing. Watermelon doing well. Made a rookie mistake with chilies. Burnt the leaves but recovering. How did you burn the leaves, Jimmy? It got scorched. Just be careful when you water the leaves, especially when it's indirect sun. Just do be careful of that, especially when your plants have gone from indoors to outdoors, or from inside your house into the greenhouse or something like that. When they get exposed to that sun, they can suffer from scorch quite easily. So it's important to harden them off properly for those kind of reasons. Noor Ali, wa alaikum assalam. How are you doing? Hope you're keeping well. That's the plan. Potting and greenhouse fingers. Wicked. How's everyone's gardens coming along? What's going well for you at the moment, and what do you need to work on, and what do you need to improve? So my video for this weekend, if you're limited on space, it's going to be another update on my my container garden. So we started to get a little bit of harvest from it. We've been taking some spinach and chard and stuff. The lettuce is ready to start picking. We should start picking lettuce leaves from there, and I've started to plant up into the bathtub now, and we should have some beans and beetroot and radishes pretty soon. We've had one harvest of radishes, but we should have some more harvest of radishes coming up soon. Good to hear you're okay. So I'm glad to see you back with a live chat. I'm glad to be back, Margaret. I'm really glad to be back. Rob's Allotment Gardening, how are you doing, mate? Thanks very much for coming in. I've told to hit the like button. Great. Oh, wicked. You guys just keep having a bit of an argument between yourselves over hitting the like. But let's see. So pumpkin are flying at the moment. Putting a new bed in my front of my potting shed as well. So I've got a new beddish area at the side of my greenhouse. So I've got two greenhouses. I've got the red greenhouse and I've got the glass one. And at the bottom of the glass greenhouse, we've made a bed at the start of this year. I just raked out all the wood chips from the chicken run and just pretty much smothered the grass and everything that was underneath and just turned that into a bed now. And that's where my pumpkins are going this year. What I'll do is this week, maybe not this week, just everything's falling onto this week, but when I get around to trimming the hedges, all the hedge trimmings will just go straight onto that bed, and that bed will be ready for me to plant up. I've got some chili seeds from Morocco. They're 3 inches tall. Can't wait. They were really hot. I don't know the variety. What are they? Are they sort of like green chili types, or they sort of habanero types? Dandy Mum, how are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. Davey, how are you doing, mate? Long time no see. Hope everything's good with you. Kato family, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Glad to see you coming in. When can I plant aubergines in the greenhouse, please? Thanks. Have you already started your aubergines? Because if you're in the UK, aubergines need a long growing season. Mine are sort of that sort of size. I started them in February. They're going to need a really long growing season to get them going and get them growing well. If you're sowing them from seed, it's a little bit late now to get them going and still get a good harvest from them. So they really needed to be started a lot earlier. But in the greenhouse, again, you watch your nighttime temperatures. Your nighttime temperatures need to be at least 10, 12 degrees, that sort of range, before you can get them into your greenhouse. Dear Martin, should I allow my boat chilies to fruit now? They're still indoors in small cups and some peppers on them. So if you've got small plants, how small have you got them? Because normally what I do with them is, sometimes what chilies and a lot of fruiting plants can do is, if they're too stressed, they can go into survival mode, where they'll put all their energy into one or a handful of little fruits, and they'll try and get them to ripen, and they won't put on any other fruit apart from those little ones, and they'll grow that really well. But as soon as you pick that one off, you'll see them just bush out and put on loads of fruit. Now, if you're talking about fresh young plants from this season, what I'd be doing is I'd be starting to pot them up, depending on the size. If they're quite big plants, 6 inches or above, I'd put them into the final pots. If they're not 6 inches or above and they're a little bit smaller, then I'd put them into some intermediary cups that you're gonna pots that you're gonna pot them up in, let them grow on, and then move them into the final pots in mid-June, that sort of time, July. Now, once your plant starts producing fruit, and if it's gone into survival mode, it'll just concentrate on those fruit and it won't get bigger, and your harvest will be quite limited. But if you want to push it and you want to real maximize the harvest, then get them potted up quite sharpish. So big show tomorrow. Where have you got a farm show? Because we're at this food festival and I'm looking forward to that. First time I'm going to any of these kind of festival things. But they do this sort of food festival around the north. So they're going to be doing one in Harrogate. They're going to be doing one in Ilkley. We're booked onto those as well. So we're going to just see how it goes at this one this weekend. And if we do quite well, because they're really expensive to book a slot at them. I mean, normally at the farmers markets, we're paying like 30, 40 quid for a pitch. And that's just for a day. But here it's costing like 80 quid for a pitch. And it's pretty steep. I'm worried about making that back before we start talking about making any money from it. So using the euro, what's a euro pallet? I saw my peppers and chilies in January. I normally saw mine in sort of December, January, that sort of time. They're in large plastic water cups. They're very large plants. So if they're very large plants, then I'd be putting them into their final destination. How can I contact you? I'm not on Facebook. So Facebook is probably the easiest. My email's I've got an email contact, but at the moment I'm quite slow on getting back to people. I've been inundated with messages over the last few weeks, so I'm still a couple of weeks behind on getting back to people. So I sowed these in December the 1st. Yeah, it's a good time to sow them. A lot of my plants have really struggled this year. We've had massive aphid attacks, and because I've just been concentrating on my campaign, I've just not been able to give my plants the focus that I wanted to. So normally I have loads of chili plants for sale. This year I just haven't got. I can't offer plants for sale. They're just not the quality that I'd normally expect, or the quality that I'd want to be able to, offer them to anyone else. So it's a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a shame. It is. Season here is a slow start, wet and cold, but tomato self-seeded and growing it on plot. So save some and we'll see how they go. I had a self-seeded tomato, and I made the ultimate mistake of when I was potting it up today. It's grown to about 1.5 foot. It's really tall. It's putting on flowers, and while I was potting it up, hopefully it'll recover, but I sort of snapped the main stem. It didn't end up in two pieces. I just damaged it, but it's got a nice crack in it. I didn't realize I was just being so clumsy, and I didn't realize it was going to be so tender, so crispy. It just went and snapped. But I potted it up. I potted it nice and deep. Hopefully it'll recover, because that's the first tomato plant that I've got flowers on. So Bahrul Alam Walaikum Assalam. 2 hours ago, I told my wife you're not uploading any videos for a long time. Happy to see you after Maghrib. Is everything fine? Yeah, everything's okay. Walaikum Assalam wa rahmatullah. So I put a video out last week. And we'll be back to our usual routine. So we'll be live on Friday and video on Sunday. Yeah. Chilies have loads of flowers. Pollinated. Well, if you've got that, get them potted up. Get them potted up into the final pot. Mars, I was talking about you at the start of the chat. Actually, I wasn't expecting you in, but I'm glad you made it. I hope everything's good with you. How was your what do you call it? Your paddle boarding? And I don't know how you can do it in this cold water. So am I at Round Day? Yeah, I'm at Round Day Park tomorrow. Round Day Food Festival. Ginger, thanks very much for coming in. I'm glad to be back. 800. The 15th Balmoral show. If you want a ticket, is 25 quid. The 15th, when's that? That's Monday. It's a bit of a trek though. That's the only problem. So what was blue? I'm not surprised it was cold. I took a few attempts to stand up on the or Euro pallet 1200 by 800. Okay, are they the really big ones? Is that the ones that you're talking about? I've been lazy with plants, to be honest with you, due to having too much to do on the allotment. I need cabbage plants so bad. So I haven't sown my cabbage plants yet. What I normally do is I sow a lot. We do a couple of sowings of cabbages, so March, and then we do one later on in the season to go through the winter, because they'll keep growing and they'll stay there, and they're very hardy as well. So yeah. Have you tried putting copper wire onto the stem of the tomato plant? Chili plant. I heard this excellent protection from disease. See, on tomatoes, I've never needed copper. I know putting copper rings around plants that are susceptible to slugs is worth doing, but I've never actually used them for tomatoes or chilies. I've got all sizes of pallet collars. See, I need to go and pick some pallets up. I made a wood store. I had a couple of pallets lying around, so the really heavy duty ones. I made a nice wood store, and I've got a couple of doors that I rescued from a shed that was being pulled down next door. Really solid, it was a absolutely solid wood shed doors. So I've used that for the roof, and I've made these I've made one bay for my wood store, and I'm going to make another one next to it. But yeah, we need to make some wood stores because and get the wood seasoning properly. But yeah, okay, buddy. I've got loads of collars, mate. £4 each. My beans have been dug out and eaten. I think it's birds very annoyed as they all germinated and were like 15 centimeters. So with beans, birds can be a problem with them. So can rats and mice. So just watch that sort of thing as well. Usman Maher, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thanks very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. Picked my first cucumber the other day, did a video. Oh, fantastic. Really good, really good. See, the only thing that we're harvesting at the moment is sort of salad leaves and that kind of thing. As the camera on the drive did said, it has actually. We've not had any thefts since then. I've got the Ring doorbell now, and well, it's not a Ring, it's Eufy or something. But since I've got that, yeah, we've had no more thefts because they were taking stuff out of my shed. And, you know, we bought bottles of oil, you know, that we cook with, and they're taking things like that. Yeah, it was just getting really annoying. I've had some tools go missing, hammers and you know, saws and stuff like that. So yeah, quite a few little, nothing massively expensive. Well, it's not going to be worth a lot, but to replace it, you know, just little bits, because the garden was in a bit of a mess. The shed's still in a bit of a mess. I say a bit of a mess, a lot of a mess, and because of that, there's lots of things just I'm looking for now, and they're just not there anymore. And when you know that we've had a pattern of things being, you know, taken, yeah, we know what's happened. But there was, I never actually, I could have videoed him. There was one guy I caught, you know, snooping around my woodpile. He parked up in a van, you know, one of those pickup trucks. He just parked up outside my house. My car wasn't there, and I saw him out the window. He just came into the drive and started looking around the logs. And so as soon as my wife saw him, and she just said, look at that guy, there's someone in our garden. I darted outside, but it was an old man, you know, it was an old man, and I couldn't be as harsh as I would have liked to if he was a bit younger. But he was asking, could he take, you know, he asked me once he'd seen me, could he take the wood? I'm like, no, I've just, you know, got this, I've bought this, I've collected this for my own, you know, for my own fire. But yeah, he hasn't been back around since. I bought myself a hot bin this week, very expensive, so I need to make a good go at it. Anyone have any experience with them? Plan is to get it started this weekend. I've never used a hot bin in. Um, I've looked at them. Yeah, I've looked at them, but I couldn't justify the money for them. But let us know how you get on with it. Just, but I'd treat it like any other compost pile. Build it up in layers. Make sure that the volume is going to be the key with that size of thing as well. So getting the right mix of materials in there, getting the right amount of materials in there is going to be absolutely essential to get it to work properly and get it to fire up and really heat and cook your compost quite well. In one of your videos, you have a Chinese hat. Where did you get it from? It's not a Chinese hat, man. It's a Bangladeshi hat. I got it from Bangladesh. Last year, when I went out, I picked up a couple of them. But yeah, in my last, yeah, it was in my last video. It was a Bangladeshi hat made with authentic Bangladeshi banana leaves and everything. So yeah, Morgan on the boat. That's beats, not bolts. I asked that boy to get me my glasses. Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, it's just little petty things, you know, really annoying little petty things. Nothing serious, nothing that's gonna sort of destroy me, but it's just little petty things that are just so annoying. I've got some red Robin tomatoes. They're miniature countertop variety. They're really prone to breakage. I use a bit of copper wire to splint them back together, and it works. Okay, that's interesting. Because the thing I did with my one is I just stuck it in really deep, made sure that there was at least 6 inches of the stem covered above the break, so it can root out quite well. And I gave it a bamboo stake and tied it in quite well. Hopefully that should do it. But I need to get it into the greenhouse. I've left it outside tonight, but I need to get it into the greenhouse because we're expecting quite high winds over the next few days. Birds are annoying me this year. How do you deter? So there's a few ways to deter. I mean, the most obvious one is a scarecrow. Have things that flatter about, stick seed. This is one of the things that I do in my cherry tree, is make sure that we've got lots of things that cause reflections. So old CDs that are tied up there, bits of plastic that flutter and make noise. So anything that's going to be a little bit unnerving, it's good for things. It'll stop things like pigeons and stop some of the more clumsier birds. But some of the smarter birds, the robins and the crows, yeah, they're coming down, regardless of what you've got in there, unless you've got absolute sort of protection, sort of like a piece of chicken wire cage or something like that, or some bird netting, or some wire, some mesh or something like that. But for things, when you're planting peas and beans, did you get your frames and your supports up straight away? Because one thing that I do when I plant my peas out is I get my supports in pretty much instantly. So as soon as the peas are in, we'd normally get pigeons in to come and eat the pea plants. So as soon as the supports are in and the sticks are there, and you've caused a bit of a barricade, the pigeons aren't going to come in because they don't feel comfortable enough. It deters them quite a bit. So I'm hoping the hot bin pays for itself with the compost over the next few years. How much did it cost, if you don't mind me asking? Have you planted any courgettes outside yet? No. On paper, we're just passing our last frost, or we're just coming up to our last frost date. It's like tonight, I think it's going to drop down to about 5 degrees Celsius again. It's going to be cold. So no, nothing like that is going outside. We've got courgettes in the greenhouse. We've got them in pots, but they won't go out until sort of early to mid-June. Yeah, a couple of years ago, there was a really hot May. Really looked absolutely amazing. The season looked fantastic, and I planted loads of my squash out. And June became so cold, you couldn't go out into the garden without a jumper on, and all my squash plants just got stunted. They got hit by the cold quite bad, and then towards the end of June, when it started getting nicer again, I put some fresh plants that I'd just sown straight into the ground. And by the end of July, the ones that I'd sown in June were a lot bigger than the ones that I'd planted out in May. So just be careful of some of the forecasts. No offense taken, man, but I'm just making a point. It's a Bangladeshi hat. They poop everywhere and dig up my. The poop's good for you. I mean, bird poo's full of nitrogen, full of nutrients. It's good for your garden, and the quantities that are going to come down it's not going to be massive, so it's not going to uh, it's not going to deliver an overabundance of nutrients. So it's good for your garden. Them scratching and digging stuff up is generally good for your garden as well. One of the best ways that, or one of the best preventers of snails in my garden are little blackbirds. So we encourage blackbirds. We make sure that there's plenty of hides for them, because they come down and they'll eat any snails that they can find. So crows, blackbirds, you'll see them, in the garden picking up snails and sucking them out of the shell. So they're doing a really good job for us. So if they're doing some things that are causing a nuisance, what we try and do is try and find a way of stopping them, deterring them without deterring them from coming into the garden, because they're doing benefits for us as well. Make sure your wind defenses are in place. That's one of the reasons a lot of people ask, talk about my apple trees being really tall. I think my apple trees and my pear trees are about 12 foot at the moment, 12 to 14 foot, that sort of range. But they're really tall because they act like a wind barrier. What we've got is two massive trees at the bottom of the garden, so that funnels the wind straight up our garden. And because of the position of the houses at the bottom, it's like a big wind tunnel. Everything just hits the houses and comes straight down this channel into our garden. So what I'm trying to do is build up a wind barrier with these trees, and then at the start of each bed, what I've got is at the start of the bottom bed, I've got my peas. So I've got my peas and my pea sticks, and that'll give me a little bit of a windbreak. And then I'll be planting taller plants and then shorter plants behind it. Let's see, I'm falling a little bit behind on the chat. So I've got spare cabbage plants. I wish you were closer because I could do some cabbage plants. This year I bought fancy tomato seeds from a company on TikTok and none of it germinated, no tomato. I remember you saying you sent us those pictures of the tomatoes with like rainbows and different colours. See, where TikTok shop just seems a bit iffy to me. Yeah, you see loads of people sticking loads of adverts on at the same time. It's just one of those places that just seems a little bit iffy. I think once they get a bit more controls in, they'll tighten it up. But it seems like eBay at the very start, you know, anyone could sell anything, and yeah, there's no rules. It costs a lot with a plinth, but 15% off for the £284. Wow, wow, that's a lot of money. That better be making some good compost, and it better be making it fast. That's what I'm saying. I've already planted my courgettes. Have you planted them out or just planted them? Let's catch up. So trees are not so big now. No, that yeah, the big sycamore's not as big anymore. Thanks to Moz and Graham. Yeah, it's starting to put its buds on, and it's starting to go into leaf. Let's see what sort of shape it takes once everything's everything's in full leaf and it's in full show. I'll be looking forward to that and seeing how it gets on. Old McDerby. What's Old McDerby? Last year, the wasps ate all my apples, every single one. Any tips on how to deter the wasps? How to protect my apples? I won't use poisonous chemicals. Wasps ate your apples. The thing is, with wasps, they're so beneficial for everything else. I'm just trying to think. I've not come across a problem with wasps before. So, anyone else got any ideas for wasps deterring them from apples? Surprising every single one. Are you sure it was wasps? Because one of the other things that codling moth are a big problem, and grease bands are probably the biggest solution for them. But with wasps, I've just never seen them. I've never noticed them as a problem. So if anyone else has got some ideas, then please drop them in. You stumped me on that one. Toss Stones, how are you thanks very much for coming in. Glad you popped by. Laura, how are you doing? Long time no see. I'm glad you're in. We've got all the usual gang in now, and a few new names as well. So if it buds bad blame Moz. According to a website, the last chance of frost is gone. Is it safe to put chilies out? I wouldn't put chilies out, even though the last chance of frost is gone. Your nighttime temperatures, until you're hitting at least 10 degrees, yeah, that's sort of the average that you'd want. The odd few nights colder than that might be okay, 5-6 degrees on a few nights, but ideally you want to be hitting an average of about 10 degrees. A YouTuber put a video up showing his new 1,000 litre hot bin. He got it free. He got it for free, and it's £1,000. Wow, that's a lot of money for composting stuff. So I will only buy from Lidl and Premier Seeds. All right, I found them to be best quality. See, Lidl seeds are good and they're fairly priced, but the number of seeds per packet is just really pathetic. Yeah, that's the only problem that I've got with Lidl seeds. Wilco's is very good. If you can get to Wilco's at the end of the season and just pick up good in-date packets, like 10p, 20p, that sort of price. But you've got to be there before everyone else, so there's always a bit of a rush for that. So I like wasp, but every single that's amazing. I've never seen them like that. Wasp invasive species here, they do damage crops. Wow. So there's some good videos about making your own, but the materials aren't cheap and not easy to get without a car. I want to say my grapes a couple of years ago, the size of them, let them get on with it. Do you know with the apples, when I buy from a lot of seed suppliers, depending on what I need. AJ, how are you doing? Long time no see. I'm back. I'm hopefully, we'll be back on our normal routine again. Question: is it normal for garlic foliage to be spitting into loads of thin, long leaves? When did you plant your garlic? So with some varieties, it can do that. So if you notice it carefully, I think it's a little bit early for it to do that now. Normally what it does, that sort of end of June, July time, and that's a sign of the garlic being over mature. So the garlic split, it's turned into little bulbs, and what those little bulbs are doing, those little bulbs are starting to grow into new garlic and make their own little plant. So if it's starting to do that, then what you'll notice as well is when you pull it out, there'll be no skin holding everything together, or the skin will be very very loose, or very thin. It'll be very thin layers left. It's a little bit early for it to be doing that. Normally it does that a little bit later on in the season. Thank you very much. There we go. Okay. So try kaolin clay. It helps with a plum coleo bug. I'm gonna have a Google of that because I've not heard of that before. I've brought up kaolin clay masks from a beauty regime, eh? Okay, interesting. I'll have a look at that afterwards. Where are we in the chat? So the Beanie Composter channel has lots about hot bins. He also saw me on it. We'll see if I get regret, but essentially a new toy for me to play with. Have fun with that. I use a tool cloth to keep bugs off my small trees. You have to hit the sweet spot between them and pollinate. Budget Seeds Direct is amazing. Someone put a link on the group for Budget Seeds. That's one that I meant to check out, but I never got around to doing. The folks with bigger trees use kaolin clay. It's messy and needs frequent application, but it works on most bugs. Let's see, if you were going for like if you wanted to nuke if you were going for a nuclear sort of approach, wood ash would be absolutely brilliant, but it will wipe out everything, so it'll wipe out friendlies as well as bads. The only time I use wood ash is I use generally in my chicken bed pens, in chicken baths, in the chicken beds, and I access to everything else. It never becomes a fully fledged ecosystem in there. The folks with bigger tree. Okay, I made some fantastic sag. Used my wild garlic leaves. We've got loads of wild garlic in our front garden and in our back garden, but we just grow it for the flowers more than anything else. We never actually eat it. It's one thing. It'd be worth tasting and seeing what it's like. Sean, how are you doing? Long time no see. Hope you're good. Hope everything's good with you and life's treating you well. If we don't keep up to our Friday lives, then I'll no, I'll be back hopefully. Maybe I planted them too early. Should I harvest them? What can be done with germinated cloves? You can still use them like normal garlic. Just what I do is pick one and just check if what I'm actually saying is what's happening. Don't just panic. Have a look, and maybe you can just leave him. Leave them as they are. And if it's the odd few and not all of them, just use them. Once you've harvested them, let them fatten up as much as possible, because remember, garlic fattens up with the length of days, the day length. So as the light reaches its max, that's when your garlic will really bulb up. So you want it in the ground as much as possible around now. So leave them as they are, and when you harvest them, use them towards the first bits of garlic that you use will be the ones that you've pulled out like this, that don't have protective skins on them, and the ones that are fine, they're the ones that you're going to store for longer. But I wouldn't panic. Just if you want to just have a little look around, if you want to pull one plant and pick it, you can still use young garlic, and even these ones that are germinated, you can still use them. It's fine. When should I harvest my garlic? I sow in November. I wouldn't sow them till the end of June at the earliest. Like I say, the day length makes the bulb get bigger. July, mid-July, if you can push it. End of July, even better. I normally pull mine around the end of June because I get rust really, really bad. So in order to stop it from spreading to my onions and everything else, we pull it a little bit earlier. Saying that, I've got loads of onions to plant out as well. So do you have, oh, you're talking to Alan, okay. The Muslim gardener, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, how are you doing? Hamza, I hope you're keeping well. I need to refresh my seeds, lots of fails this year. I've had, I can empathise with that. You know, carrots. I've sown carrots probably 3 or 4 times now, and I've had such bad germination rates with carrots. So I've got some fresh seed packets, and I actually sowed some today. How's everyone's pear blossoms doing? Mine don't look good, sadly, all black. I haven't checked my big pear tree. I thought I'd have some. I thought I had a couple of sets on my dwarf pear tree, but sadly it hasn't. Yeah, they haven't set. But we've got some cherries and we've got some plums set on the dwarf trees, and we've even got some dwarf. We've even got some peaches on the dwarf peach tree in the greenhouse. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they turn out. The guy who had the hot bin also had a big polytunnel given to him for free, and it was brand new. You're not talking about our Tony here. Am I going to plant any deshy veg outside soon? Outside, not yet. Yeah, not until probably June. We'll see how June goes, and then we'll decide on what we're going to do with them. But yeah, I wouldn't do it until then. All my trees are blossoming. My pear tree was transplanted last year, and it's alive by the bark, but hasn't blossomed because of the transplant. My dog, how are you doing? Long time no see. Our prayer blossom is doing well. Keep the wood pigeons away. Yeah, see, Sean, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't the. I wanted the margin to be a little bit closer. It's quite. Yeah, it's not. Wasn't as good as I was hoping. Really well at the minute. I'm going to be a dad soon as well. And the guy, oh, fantastic news! That's oh, congratulations, mate! Absolutely fantastic. AJ, don't panic. Just don't panic. Just go out there, take your time, go and inspect them, and then decide on what you're going to do. I'll never use onion sets again, bro. Bolton, yeah, yeah. Onion sets. I stopped using them for exactly that reason. Yeah, just I gave up on them. I bought elephant garlic, £2 a clove, and they went from a farm shop. And £2 a clove, even 180 per bulb. It just seems ridiculously expensive. Yeah. Had good germination, but the slugs and snails have been enjoying the buff. Morgan, what are you talking about with the germination? I missed your last comment. So it's not Tony. Okay. I don't know who's getting. Well, there's not. I'm struggling with time to watch YouTube channels, so I don't know who you're talking about. But yeah, figs are looking nice this year. Man, this year for slugs though. The little blights are everywhere. They are as well. Keep your eye out, everyone, as well for New Zealand and Australian flatworms. yeah, so make sure you keep your eye out for those kind of things, because there's a farm my wife works at, and they've just found flatworms on that farm. So just be very careful about seeing them. Keep your eye out under pots, under anywhere moist. They live on sort of like a mucousy membrane, so very similar to slugs in the environment that they're going to live in. And the way to tell is they're pointy at both ends. So do keep your eye out for them. They are spreading, and they are causing a problem for our natural earthworms. You want to see a tomato plant update? We'll get one soon. We'll get, yeah. It was Steve. I don't know who Steve is. I haven't sown as many things this spring as I usually do, so I may have to get some small plants later on in the month. But yeah. Monica, how are you doing? Glad to see you in the live chat. Hope you're keeping well. My carrots are doing good. Garlic great. Apricot tree died, but it has loads of but I still have loads of onions to plant too. It's nice. Here I'm not the only one struggling this year. So you're doing better than me on the carrots, because I've planted them now 3 or 4 times and I've still not had any germination rate. I still haven't had any germinate, so I planted more today. Sorry about your apricot tree. And I'm in the same boat with the onions. I've got tons and tons of onions to plant. Just need to get them in the ground, need to find some space for them, and need to get some ground cleared. I made you grow mealworm, great protein for your chicken, and frass for the garden if not. I don't grow them. We used to get loads when we used to keep lots and lots of fish, but yeah, I don't grow them. It might be worth doing actually, because I know lots of people do it, and yeah. Bro, how are the chili seeds coming along? Didn't plant mine. I need to have a look. I'll let you know. Let me have a look, because a lot of my chilies are actually nowhere near where they normally are this time of year. Aphids and lack of care by me has just really put them back. I have to say that this is the best community ever. It's so good to them. You okay? You okay?
Oh yeah.
Just be careful. Don't make your nose bleed. Yeah, I'm glad we've got a good community here. We've got a really good community. Zishi, YouTube, love your videos. Thank you very much. Come on, fam, click the like button. Absolutely, if you won't mind hitting that like. Can you grow ylang ylang in the same way as you do ginger? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I can't answer that. That's a plant that I don't even know a lot about. Unless it's got. This is
my favorite video to show on.
This is my favorite video to show on.
I love this video.
You love this video. You're gonna behave.
I'm gonna hug the computer now.
You're gonna hug because you're in a bit of a grumpy mood before.
I wanna hug the computer now.
You're in a bit of a grumpy mood before, because you got a bit.
Mine.
So I've been banned, muted from a few channels for saying the truth.
Baba, somebody said a clove.
What did you get banned for?
Baba, somebody said a clove.
A clove, £2 a clove. That's why.
£2 a clove.
Yeah, that's just crazy. I don't mind.
Please be careful. You'll make the Yorkshire man. You'll make the Yorkshire man angry. That was what somebody said.
See, I want some free stuff. But saying that, I got.
Why isn't anybody talking to me?
They will start talking to you. I got a free trolley the other day. So
I know anybody hasn't seen me in ages.
but I'd like some free stuff. Nice. My hens have now settled in and are free range, and awesome. See, I need some more hens. I need some more young birds. I remember this time last year you was talking about how you wanted to have a farm with animals, crops. I'm still talking about it, Sean. I'm still talking about it. Nothing's happened, but I'm still talking about it. Everyone do was get ready for the match. Right, guys, we're past that 1 hour mark, and everyone's come upstairs to try and reclaim me. So I want to call it a night here. But great to see everyone. Nice to see. Yeah, good catching up. We'll be back. Watch out for the video on Sunday. Yeah, watch out for the video on Sunday. I'll be back next Friday on live. I'm gonna call it a day for here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
You finished it?
Yeah, I've finished it.